Hey all, welcome back. I'm Ali Ballor. This is Alex Carl. What are we talking about today?
Yeah, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Hope you're doing well. Our famous home videos here providing the utmost important information regarding immigration. Election is around the corner. Exciting times here. I think election day is what, November 4th? Is that right, Alec?
November 5th.
5th, perfect. November 5th. And it's either going to be the Harris administration or the Trump administration. We're going to talk about kind of in general what possible different immigration policies might be implemented or kind of at the forefront depending on who is elected.
Really just the top lines, right? So in general, the assumption is that the Harris administration would be more favorable to immigration space as opposed to Trump. I don't know if that's all true, but we'll just talk about the top lines a little bit. So what about the border? What do you think is going to happen to the border, Alex? First of all, do we need a border?
Yes, we need a border.
That's a catch question.
We need a strong border for many reasons.
Okay.
Yes, we do need a border, and actually Harris has switched her stance on whether we need a border or not, or the importance of kind of a strong border. And I think, in my opinion, both presidential nominees agree that a border is important. I don't think there's going to be much of a change there, to be honest with you. From what we've seen over the past few years and the PR that it's getting, I think both of these presidential nominees do agree that a strong border is important. So I don't think there's going to be much kind of change on that front.
I agree. Then within the same realm, right, the deportation of people that actually got through the border over the past few years and beyond, there would be a difference, right? So Trump is proposing using whatever means it may have to gather people inside the country.
Who are here without status.
Who are here without status.
He hasn't really made the distinction on whether or not, they have any kind of criminal background or not.
Right.
I think both agree that if you're here without status and you've committed a crime or you have criminal history, that you should be placed in removal proceedings. I mean, that's what our law is.
Right, but if you don't have a crime, Trump still wants to round people up and deport them. I think that might have a huge, massive effect on our economy. I think that, and also, just strikes fear through the immigrant communities as to, who may be next. I think that's a stark difference between the two.
Yeah, and in a kind of similar tone, Trump has been known to talk a little bit negatively about DACA. I think around in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, he tried to terminate the program, and the courts kind of blocked him from doing so, at least from the executive standpoint. And so, we may see DACA possibly be attacked more than it would be if Harris was elected, right? Now, any changes in that is going to rest with Congress, as we've seen. They can't really do something unilaterally, it doesn't seem like. But, again, Harris does seem to be a little bit more positive on trying to get DACA solidified, whereas Trump not so much.
Same with Biden's Parole in Place program. So this is a program that is supported by Harris, and it's just absolutely opposed by Trump. So it's in courts right now, but like Alex said, the support that each of the administrations would give is probably be slightly different between the two on Biden's Parole in Place program. What about asylum and refugees, Alex?
I'm not entirely sure. They're not going to change the asylum law per se, right? Necessarily. Again, a lot of this just has to do with the rhetoric and their viewpoints. Harris probably a little bit more amicable on the asylum process and maybe expanding who can apply for asylum and how, whereas Trump not so much. What's your take on that?
I agree. I think ultimately the law remains the same. The facts are that we have a huge backlog in our asylum program, and no matter who's there, they need to adjudicate these cases according to the law that exists. And there's people on the ground that adjudicate these cases, judges and asylum officers and so forth. So I don't know if that's going to make a lot of difference. What about work visas, investor visas, tons of work that we actually do. How was it under the Trump administration?
I mean, not much of a change, right? I mean, these work visas are pretty solidified. So there's not going to be changes in laws and regulations in regards to the work visas and investment visas and all that type of stuff. I mean, one thing, Trump, the language that he used, I remember when he was president, that he did want to kind of more focus on a merit-based immigration program rather than like the focus on, let's say, family-based. Now, nothing really kind of, that didn't take hold by any means. There were no changes on that front, but that is something that could possibly be kind of picked up again and maybe, run with. We'll see.
Well, ultimately, Congress needs to act, right? And what we've seen over the course of almost 30 years of doing this, regardless of whether it's a Republican Congress, Republican president, Democrat, whatever, things change on the edges, but the core, the responsibility of Congress to kind of update our laws just never happens. Same with, DACA, they never passed Dreamers. Same with comprehensive immigration reform, it never got passed, and they blame one another, and there's a lot of blame to go around, but the bottom line is every 4 years we face the same thing. Democrats slightly favor immigration more than Republicans, but not by that much. And the fact is that our economy depends on immigrants.
Yeah, and they both understand that. I know that. It's just the rhetoric behind them is a little bit different on their approaches. I mean, as you can tell, Trump is a little bit more negative and likes to call a lot of these immigrants criminals and murderers, etc.
Dog eaters, cat eaters.
Yeah, whereas, the Harris administration does not. They're a little bit more positive in regards to the immigration as a whole. So, I mean, I like the positive kind of route, but I'm not here to impose my own kind of beliefs or opinions on this. These are just some things that, you might see differently depending on who is elected.
Yep. So if you have any questions on who to vote for, call us, contact us. But if you have any immigration related questions, please contact us. Work visas, investor visas, asylum work.
You name it. We're a full service immigration law firm. Anything that has to do with the U.S., we can do it and do it well.
Peace.
Later.